So, Cormac McCarthy's The Road, the novel, not the movie. The cover of the book I read just happened to have the photograph of the movie on there because they're plugging the movie with it, even though it didn't come out in my area. So I received this as a Christmas gift, and I actually opened it last night and I read the first 30 pages, and I'm like, wow, this sucks. I mean, it read almost like the Bible. It read like in the historical accounts, like the man went here, he found a house. Inside the house was a ham, and it was good ham. He ate, and then they walked along the road. And it goes on like that. And I don't know what it is because the first night I read, I'm like, wow, this sucks. I closed it, I went to sleep, and I woke up this morning and I opened it and I read it from. I spent most of the day reading it, and I finished it. That's not saying much. The book's not terribly long, and the way it's printed, it looks like everything's on double space. There's huge gaps between paragraphs, and there's a lot of paragraphs. Um, I don't know if it's necessarily the change or if I just got used to the way that Cormac McCarthy was writing. But once you get into it, it actually does flow kind of smoothly. Now, the thing you have to realize about Cormac McCarthy is he doesn't necessarily write plot, in my opinion. He writes situation and characters. For example, The Road revolves around a man and a child. You never get anything a name for these characters. All they ever call them is the man and the child or the kid. So you're pretty much left with this, and you know that they're in a post-apocalyptic wasteland. There's no sun. There's ash raining down all the time. They don't know if the water's good to drink. There's corpses everywhere. Some corpses are desecrated. Some are on pikes. It just disgusting things like that. They're all over the place, and it's just literally just them walking along this road the entire book. It doesn't tell you that there's any particular goal in mind. That they're just going along this road trying to survive. And that may sound bad the first time you hear it, but the more I read the book, the more it kind of like it really got me that actually is an artistic view because the entire time, like when the characters do talk to each other, because he talks about the kid doesn't like to talk a lot, they're usually talking about good and bad. Like in one part of the book, he has a gun and he's forced to kill someone who's about to slice the kid's throat, or he's holding the kid with a knife or something. And later on, he's washing it out, and like it's kind of in his head, and he's talking about, I'm washing the brains out of my son's hair. And the kid looks up at that same time, he goes, "Are we good people?" And it's just, it really puts you in a lot of those perspectives. Like, what would you do to survive? So overall, you can get this book at like $5 at Walmart right now because all the WalMarts are carrying it to push the movie, even though the movie isn't showing in a lot of places. Don't go into this look. I don't want to say don't go in looking for a deep experience because there is a lot of reflection to be had here. This is a very specific kind of novel. Cormac McCarthy has a very certain kind of. It's kind of like how Stephen King writes. If you heard the description of a Stephen King book, you'd think it would be a horror novel, and it usually is, but it's more character driven. This is all character driven. There is not a plot. You are like literally just looking into the lives of these two characters for 287 pages. And it's really just interesting. I mean, like things take a little turn. Like one part, they think someone's following them along the road, so they let them get ahead. And they come up and they scare the people away, and they're trying to figure out what they were eating because they're obviously starving to death. And they come up and it's a child. It's a literal burned child on a stake. And it's just like that's what the people are driven to. In the next couple of pages of the kid, like it's like one word answers, so the pages are incredibly short. But it's like, "Daddy, are we good people? Yes. Are you sure? Yes. Would we ever eat anyone? No. Even if we were starving, we are starving. Are you sure? Yes." And it just goes back and forth like that, and it somehow it just works. Like the first 30 pages of the book, I hated it, but once I really got past like I want to say around page 50, I really started digging it. I couldn't put this book down. Like I said, $5 for this book at Walmart. I'd say pick it up, give it a read. And this is J Train 990, well, J Train 997 on this channel. I'm just gonna have to start saying J Train. And I recommend The Road by Cormac McCarthy.